Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to allow me to chair today, Councillor Jorgensen, who's attending virtually. Haven't done this for a long time, so. It's like riding a bike. That's right, it's like riding a bike, so here we go. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's hearings. The Committee of Adjustment is appointed by Council to consider applications for consents and minor variances to the zoning bylaw. Please be advised that any applicant or agent that is in attendance in person at today's hearing for a specific application may leave the hearing once their application has been considered by the committee. Any applicant, agent, or member of the public wishing to address the committee for a specific application is reminded that presentations are limited to 10 minutes per person. We'll go to the adoption of the agenda. Could I please have a motion to adopt today's agenda? Member Watson, Member Ungerman. Thank you. Would the Secretary Treasurer please read the resolution to adopt the agenda?
Moved by Member Watson, seconded by Member Ungerman. Be it resolved that the agenda of the Gravenhurst Committee of Adjustment meeting dated April 17th, 2026 be adopted.
And can I please get everyone to vote? And that carries. Thank you. We'll go to item number 3 on the agenda, the adoption of the minutes. Do any committee members have any comments with regard to the minutes to be adopted today? Seeing none, could I please have a motion to adopt the minutes for March 20th, 2026? Anybody? Member Ungerman? Member Watson? Thank you. If you would please vote. Oh, sorry. Would the Secretary Treasurer please read the resolution to adopt the minutes?
Moved by Member Ungerman, seconded by Member Watson. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Gravenhurst Committee of Adjustment meeting dated March 20th be adopted.
Now could I please get everybody to vote? Well, that carries.
It sort of vibrates. Anyway, so that happens next time.
Number 4 on the agenda is disclosure of pecuniary interest. Do any committee members have a pecuniary interest in any of the applications heard today? Seeing none, we'll carry on. In accordance with Section 11 of the Committee of Adjustment Procedural Bylaw, I will now ask if the Secretary Treasurer has received any requests for adjournment, deferral, or withdrawal from the applicant or agent for any application on today's agenda.
Madam Chair, we've received no such requests.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll start off with the first application for minor variance today. Public hearings, and then the chair is going to have a big long speech. The Committee of Adjustment will today consider and hear 3 minor variance applications under public hearings. The Planning Act requires that a public hearing be held before the Committee of Adjustment decides whether or not to approve a minor variance. The public hearing serves 2 purposes. First, to present to the Committee of Adjustment and the public the details and background to the application, and second, to receive comments from the public and agencies before a decision is made. I will briefly summarize the procedure to be used for the hearing. The Secretary Treasurer, Adam Ager, will advise us to when, how, and to whom notice of the public hearing was circulated. The planners, Angela Giacattis and Andrew Clark, will provide any other information that is relevant to the application and summarize any correspondence on file. From there, the applicant will be provided the opportunity to make a presentation, followed by questions or presentations from the public, either in favor of or against the proposal. Committee members will then have the opportunity to question the applicant, the Secretary Treasurer, the planners, or any given or anyone giving presentations. The proposed consent or variance will then be considered by the committee. If anyone from the public would like to receive a copy of the decision made on any application, please provide your name and full mailing address on one of the forms provided at the back of the room at the table, on the table. Would the Secretary Treasurer please advise how, when, and to whom notices of the public hearings were circulated?
Notice of the public hearings concerning the proposed applications, excuse me, sorry. Notice of the public hearings concerning the proposed applications were sent by first-class mail to the respective owners and assessed persons within 60 meters of the property, subject to the proposed consent or minor variance application, and emailed to applicable agencies. Included with each notice was a summary of the application, a site sketch, and a key map showing the location of the property. The circulations were provided in accordance with provisions of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, Chapter P13.
It is important to note that should committee approve any application, there is a 20-day appeal period during which time today's decision may be appealed. During this appeal period, no building permit may be issued or other work commenced. Although in the event there is an appeal and in order to be kept advised of a possible Ontario Land Tribunal hearing, members of the public must request to be sent a copy of committee's decision on the application. Third-party appeals are no longer accepted. Only the applicant, the municipality, and certain public bodies will be able to appeal a minor variance or consent decision. We will now deal with the applications for minor variance. Public hearing number 1. I now declare this to be a public hearing for minor variance application A05-2026 for Abate. I will now ask the Senior Planner, Angela Jakatis, to please provide any additional information that may be relevant.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The subject property is located in the western area of the municipality on Mulder Lake. The property is located in a residential waterfront neighborhood on a peninsula of land and is accessed from Peninsula Road. It is designated waterfront area in the official plan and zoned residential waterfront RW6C. The lot was created by a plan of subdivision, and you can see on this slide that the majority of lots in the area are of a similar size and shape. The property is deep. It's over 520 feet deep, and as with many areas of Mulder Lake, the property fronts onto a narrow waterway. As Mulder Lake is a vulnerable lake in the District of Muskoka Lake System Health Program, a water quality impact assessment was completed for the proposed redevelopment of the property. And that includes the construction of a new garage, as shown in red or pink at the back of the site plan drawing on the bottom of the slide. The blue structure that's closest to the water is currently a sleeping cabin that will be converted to a dryland boathouse, as there is a sleeping cabin proposed in the second story of the proposed garage. The proposed garage is 6.8 meters in height, based on the zoning bylaw definition of measuring height of a flat roof, which is to the top of the roof, as is shown in this elevation, where the zoning bylaw permits a maximum height of 6 meters, representing a variance of 0.8 meters. Comments of no objection were received from the town's deputy treasurer, parks and trails technician, and deputy fire chief. The chief building official commented that the septic will need to be evaluated for the proposed garage with the future sleeping cabin. So just going through the pictures, this first photo was taken from the road. The applicants currently use a shared driveway, but have applied for an entrance permit from Peninsula Road in this location, so their driveway will be entirely located on their own property. And then moving into the property and looking back towards the road, this shows the location of the proposed garage, where there is currently a shed that is to be removed, and the fenced area. The proposed new entrance will come in through the property behind the proposed new garage. Then this photo is standing within the location of the proposed garage, looking west towards the neighbor's shed, And I would just point out that, that the area of the garage is level and flat. Turning again from the same spot, looking at the neighbor's dwelling, just showing the separation between the proposed garage and this building. And then turning one more time and looking north across the property to the lake. You can see the dwelling at a lower elevation closer to the lake, as well as the building that is currently used as a sleeping cabin to the left. Then moving to that building and looking east across the front of the property with the dwelling on the right, you can see the mature vegetation along the shoreline, and the water quality impact assessment that was prepared includes recommendations for additional plantings, and that's incorporated into the recommended condition for site plan approval. This photo is taken moving down to the front of the property, down to the water, looking west, back up to the same building that I was just at. The last picture was taken from. The dwelling is on the left and the dock is on the right, behind the inset of me. And then turning south and looking at the dwelling, you can see here that the land slopes up. And from this location, the garage will not be visible as it's farther back on the property. And the final photo is taken from partway up the slope, looking at the location of the proposed garage, which is set back almost 60 meters from the water. It's beyond the propane tank at the top of the slope, which thereby reduces the impact of the proposed additional height. As detailed in the staff report, planning staff are satisfied the proposal meets the 4 tests of a minor variance and would recommend approval of the application with a condition requiring a site plan agreement, which includes the recommendations of the water quality impact assessment. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Jakadas. Do the applicant or agent have a presentation that they wish to make if they are present in person at this hearing today? Come on forward. I'm sure I don't need to ask you, Ms. Levering, to say your name and
Good
address.
morning. My name is Bobby Leppington from 190 Taylor Road, Bracebridge, Ontario, P1L 1J9. Angela, can I borrow the little? Thank you. So through the chair, good morning. I'm here on behalf of the owners in regards to a minor variance for height. 6.8 meters, where 6 meters is the max, for a relief of 0.8 meters. That's just a render of the garage, and what I want to point out is the less than 11 degree slope we have to measure to the peak, or the top of the roof, and the roof system itself is 2 feet thick in the design. So how did we get to the 0.8 meters? The total height consists of the main floor of 3.1, the floor system of 0.3, our second floor at the front wall 2.8, our back wall is 2.5 to allow a little bit of roof slope, and the roof system itself is 0.6 meters in thickness, allowing for that 6.8 meters. Very modest garage on the main floor and meeting the building code for the height of a sleeping cabin above with 8 feet at the back. Just wanted to point out the topography, which thank you to Angela in her presentation did a good job of with the photos. We are, I'm going to get this right, highlighting the garage back in the fenced-in area back here, tucked tight against the topography or the slope as far back as we could get the proposed garage to minimize the impact. And in the site plan, again, just highlighting at the back the sloped topography. So we've tucked that garage back as far as we can to minimize the impact, tucking it between a hydro line here and the side yard setback. Topography on the southeast side doesn't allow a flat spot for the garage. So this was the best location on the property for it. As pointed out by Angela, we will be converting the existing sleeping cabin to a dryland storage building. Building is in great shape and the value's there to keep it and convert it to a marine storage type building, which is, we don't have any type of storage on the property for that. This is an excerpt from the Water Quality Impact Assessment Report, and I just wanted to highlight the two areas for replanting. Up in the front here, the two green areas through site plan control will be revegetated in that net water improvement. So our proposal is for an accessory garage with sleeping cabin above. Our proposed variance is 6.8 meters, where 6 is the max, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. I apologize for using an older name. Are there any questions or comments from members of the public attending in person? If so, please approach the podium. Something tells me there isn't. Seeing none, any questions or comments from committee members? Hit your mic. Oh, sorry. So, okay, so we'll read the motion first. The staff's recommendation is to approve the minor variance application. Does committee have a motion to approve the application? Sorry. Member Watson and Member Ungerman.
Sorry, Adam, I'll be right there.
I will now ask Adam Ager to please read the resolution.
Moved by Member Watson, seconded by Member Ungerman. Be it resolved that application number A05-2026 Abate be approved and that the necessary notice of decision be prepared, conditional upon the applicants entering into a site plan agreement that incorporates the recommendations of the Water Quality Impact Assessment dated March 2026.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the committee to the applicants, the secretary treasurer, the planners, or any persons who have made presentations? Member Sims, just press your button.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm in support of this. It does make sense, and the photos really make it easy to help us to understand that it's not really an eyesore. Just a question was, I noticed that the comment from the building official concerned septic related to the fact that there used to be the housing in this, what is now going to become a dry land storage area. And then on the plan that was shown on the sketch, there's a proposed new septic. So I take this to mean that there will be a new septic installed on the system, and I'm seeing seems to be consent.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Councillor Sims. Absolutely, there'll be a new septic. We're going to leave the existing tertiary system to serve the cottage, abandon it to the dryland storage building if and as needed, and then we'll do a complete new septic for the sleeping cabin. That new septic will be behind the 60-meter mark, behind the topography. There's another flat spot to put the septic in behind.
Further, go ahead.
Thank you. That's good clarification. I think this is a good sign. I mean, we're improving these septic handling on the lake. It struck me as odd, or at least overbearing, that a requirement to change the use of the building. But I guess if that's what's required, it's...
Ms. Chikatas, go ahead.
Thank you. I can provide some more insight into that. The property only permits one sleeping cabin, so in order to utilize the new building as a sleeping cabin, then the other sleeping cabin needs to be removed. So by converting it to a storage building only, then that addresses that. And again, that would all need to be done through a change of use building permit as well.
Anybody else? I have a question. The driveway, is the entrance permit happening only because there's development on the property? Like, it seems to have been come on forward, Bobby. It seems to have been sort of perpetuated because to me, because the garage is being built. Is that the case? Because everything's been fine up till now?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. The driveway, this is a new owner to the property. So the driveway, the desire to have their own driveway rather than the shared driveway is what has driven the entrance permit and the new proposal straight in. We do have an entrance permit, and I believe the construction on the new entrance and driveway will happen the same time the garage goes in.
Super. Okay, if there's nothing further, I will now ask the senior planner if there are any recommendations or comments to bring to the attention of the committee as a result of these proceedings.
Staff would recommend that committee approve the application with the recommended condition. Thank you.
Thank you. So I guess if there's nothing further, then I'll call for the vote. And that carries. Thank you. I now declare this public hearing to be concluded. So we'll go right into public hearing number 2. I now declare this to be a public hearing for minor variance application A08-2026 Goldstein and Battelle. I will now ask the planner, Andrew Clark, to please provide any additional information that may be relevant. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, everybody. The subject property, which is municipally known as 1014 Evergreen Court, is located within the northern boundary of the town's urban center and on the southeast generally area of Lake Muskoka. The property consists of a waterfront lot with assessed frontage on Lake Muskoka and also a backlot portion, which you can see on this map, which has frontage on Evergreen Court, and this road is privately maintained. The property is zoned residential 3, subject to special provision 1219, and is within the Muskoka Beach area designation of the official plan. I'll just note that the current special provision on the property deems both of these properties as one for planning purposes, as they're separated by a road allowance, and also allows for a sleeping cabin, which we'll see in the pictures, but it's on the backlot portion. So the property is within an urban residential waterfront area, which consists of smaller lots, which are generally developed with detached dwellings and accessory structures, generally with reduced setbacks from the water and more open shoreline areas. You can also see on this aerial that surrounding properties are developed with longer docks. The property, subject to this application, is currently developed with a dwelling, an attached deck, 2 sheds, which are at the rear of the waterfront portion, and then a sleeping cabin on the backlot portion. And that's just not visible yet on this aerial image because it's newer. The property slopes downwards gently towards the shoreline, which then generally consists of a mix of grass, shrubs, which are immediately along the water, and then mature trees running along the side lot lines. So the applicant is proposing to construct a new dock, which results in a maximum shoreline development area of 76.5 square meters, where 69 square meters is permitted, which represents a variance of 7.5 square meters. The requested shoreline development area in this application includes this dock and then a portion of the open decking within the shoreline area of the property, which are these highlighted areas on the site plan. Comments of no objection have been received from the chief building official, our manager of revenue, Parks and Trails technician, Fire and Emergency Services Department, District of Muskoka, and no public comments have been received at the time of this presentation. Moving into our site photos, this first photo looks north towards the rear of the existing dwelling and shed, again on the waterfront portion of the property. This just turns around looking south across Evergreen Court. It shows the existing sleeping cabin on the backlot portion. Moving north, this just looks west across the front of the dwelling and the attached deck, which is included in the requested shoreline development area. And that portion that's included generally ends as you get to the sunroom on the left. This now looks north at the shoreline area of the property. The proposed dock is in the middle area of the shoreline, looking directly ahead, and it'll be approximately in the middle of these two other existing docks, which are defined by similar dimensions and projections into the water is what's being proposed. This just looks further east, noting existing shoreline development on neighboring properties. Again, the surrounding area consists of longer docks. And then looking west, we see a similar development form with respect to shoreline structures. And then finally, this looks south from the shoreline. Again, shows the front of the existing dwelling and the deck. You can also see a kind of a tree in the central area of the shoreline. And then, this just showcases the separation of the deck area from the immediate shoreline. So as recommended in the staff report, staff are satisfied that the application meets the 4 required tests of a minor variance and recommend the application be approved, subject to the condition that the water depth at the end of the dock is confirmed by a surveyor in order to confirm zoning compliance with the proposed projection as it's over 15 meters. That concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Do the applicant or agent have a presentation that they wish to make if they are present in person at this hearing today? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm the agent in this application. Jack Lorenz, 370 Phillip Street East, Gravenhurst, Ontario, P1P1M5. I'll keep it very short and sweet because Andrew, as usual, did a great job of summarizing everything. The dock would otherwise be able to be applied for a building permit, but the owner just wants a little bit of extra width to walk out to the main section, taking the walkway from 3 feet to 4 feet. And we'll obviously get a survey to confirm the water depth, but we're sort of waiting because I think the water on Lake Muskoka is a little bit high right now. So probably won't meet the criteria. But if you have any questions, then feel free to let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Good information. Are there any questions or comments from members of the public attending in person? If so, please approach the podium, press the button, give your name and mailing address to the Secretary Treasurer, and follow with your comments. Seeing none. The staff recommendation is to approve the minor variance application. Does committee have a motion to approve the application? Member Ungerman, Member Sims. I will now ask Adam Ager to please read the resolution.
Moved by Member Ungerman, seconded by Member Sims. Be it resolved that application number A08-2026, Goldstein and Patel, be approved and that the necessary notice of decision be prepared conditional upon a surveyor confirming the water depth at the end of the dock to confirm zoning compliance for the proposed projection.
Are there any questions or comments from the committee to the applicants, the Secretary Treasurer, the planners, or any persons who have made presentations? Committee? Member Jorgensen, you okay in there? Good. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. I will now ask the planner if there are any recommendations on or comments to bring to the attention of the committee as a result of these proceedings.
Through you, Madam Chair, staff recommend the application is approved with a recommended condition.
Thank you so much. If there's nothing further, then I'll call for the vote. And that carries. Thank you. I now declare this public hearing to be concluded. And finally, public hearing number 3, I now declare this to be a public hearing for minor variance application A09-2026, Hunter and Boorman. I will now ask the senior planner, Angela Giacattis, to please provide any additional information that may be relevant.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The subject property is located close to the southern boundary of the municipality, west of Highway 11. The property is accessed from Shamrock Marina Road. It's located across the road from a portion of Shamrock Bay Resort. The property is zoned residential rural, RR5, and is designated rural area in the official plan. I would suggest the property can generally be described as a typical residential rural lot. The proposal is to construct a new additional residential unit, ARU, within an accessory building on a lot that is 0.8 hectares, where 1 hectare is required. The building is shown as the dark rectangle in the middle of the slide. Is proposed to be a height of 6.6 meters, where a 6-meter height is permitted. Comments of no objection were received from the town's chief building official, deputy fire chief, infrastructure technologist, manager of revenue, and parks and trails technician. The first photo is taken while standing on the road opposite the driveway and looking into the property. You can see the mature vegetation adjacent to the road, which provides a visual buffer to the existing structures on the property. And then looking into the property just a little bit closer, the proposed new building with additional residential unit is located behind the dwelling and will not be visible from the road. Then looking south on the road, it's difficult to see, but the neighbor's dwelling is in the distance approximately in the center of the slide. This is intended to illustrate the large separation between the structures. Just looking across the road into one of the entrances for Shamrock Bay Resort. And then moving into the subject property, the driveway that will go back to the proposed accessory garage with the additional residential unit, and keep the shed at the left in mind for the next photo. So you can see the shed on the left, you can see the wood shed in the center of the photo, and at the back, it's difficult to see, but beyond the red Muskoka chair, there are 4 stakes outlining where the new building is proposed. So those stakes are shown in this photo. You can see that there is no tree removal in this area and that the area is level and flat, suitable for the proposed new building. Then standing in the location of the new building, looking back towards the dwelling, it really showing the other shed on the property and just intending to show that the lot size and characteristics of the property are appropriate for the proposed additional residential unit to be located in an accessory building. And finally, looking west out the driveway, just confirming that, again, that the building will not be visible from the road. With respect to the height, it is just the small roof extension at the front which necessitates the variance. Because peaked roofs are measured to the midpoint of the roof, as opposed to the last application we saw with a flat roof where it's measured to the top of the roof, the midpoint of the extended roof becomes higher than the midpoint of the main roof and necessitates the requested variance. So as detailed in the staff report, planning staff are satisfied that the proposal meets the 4 tests of a minor variance and would recommend approval of the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jakatis. Do the applicant or agent have a presentation that they wish to make if they are present in the room for the hearing today? Seeing none. Are there any questions or comments from members of the public attending in person today? Seeing none. The staff recommendation is to approve the minor variance application. Does committee have a motion to approve the application? Member Watson, Member Sims. I will now ask Adam Ager to please read the resolution.
Moved by Member Watson, seconded by Member Sims. Be it resolved that application number A09, 2026, Hunter and Boorman be approved and that the necessary notice of decision be prepared.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from committee members? Wow, seeing none. I will now ask the senior planner if there are any recommendations, comments to bring to the attention of the committee as a result of the proceedings.
Thank you. Staff would recommend that committee approve the application.
Thank Thank you, Ms. Chikatis. I guess then, if there's nothing further, we'll call for the vote. Please vote. And that carries. Thank you. I now declare this public hearing to be concluded. And there you have it. I guess that's the end of the meeting. Of course, but I'm just, it was pretty quick at 9:35, I'd say, Member Watson. The next Committee of Adjustment meeting is on May the 15th, 2026 at 9 a.m. As there's no further business noted on the agenda, can we please have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Member Watson? Member Ungerman? Please vote.
Someone hasn't voted. Oh, well. That's okay. Still passed.
And that carries.
It's okay.
I now declare this hearing to be adjourned at 9:36.